guess what?
Like
so today we're
thirsty
sipping
all
on
the time.
booch and
booch.
but harder. We're actually sipping on the Kimmy Werner June Shine.
Shout out my girl.
Ocean. Something.
Ocean burst or something.
Ocean burst.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you, Kimmy.
Cheers to you too.
Kimmy swimming.
I hope you're enjoying a cold beverage, or enjoying your drive, or whatever it is
Or just
that you
thinking
will be
about
doing.
a cold beverage that you'll get after your drive.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you pause the video right now, go get yourself a cold beverage.
Go get yourself a Kimmy Werner, a June Shine,
Come and sip it.
because she's worth it.
She
Trust.
is worth it.
Cool. Alright, do you want to do the intro? Sure.
Aloha Wahine. This is WataWahineWorld. I'm Kate Ely,
I'm Sam.
and welcome to WataWahineWorld.
Woo woo! We just pranked you.
Did you catch that?
Did you catch that?
But today, Kate Ely is going to be teaching me how to pound some kapa while we talk about some, sustainable ideas in our heads and
We're just gonna yap.
what have been happening this past week or so. But we're going to be demonstrating how to pound some kapa because back in the day, what did they use kapa for, KK?
So, yes. I have been studying Kapa under Kumu Paige Chang at Pukoa Studios, and she is an amazing mentor, and I guess I'm considered a Kumu, but I think we've decided I'm like Kumu Li'i, like a little Kumu, and she's Kumu Nui. So there's there's still a long way for me to go, but it is an honor and a privilege to get to learn this craft, and so I'm really excited to just teach Sam a little bit about it and yap away per usual, because it is traditionally something that women would do together in community, and still in a lot of Polynesia they do it all together, like tens of women on long tables will just pound all day. Chicken's got something to say. And kapa, which we'll be making, is made out of this tree right here, this beautiful Welke person next to us. This is Welke, but say, hey Welke!
Hey, Welke!
Isn't she cute?
She's so cute.
This is just a baby, just a keiki, but it is the plant that will eventually produce enough bark to make one of these. So after you grow the tree, you will cut it and pound it and peel it. And Sam and I actually did that process with some different trees last time we hung out. And so I wanted to teach her the next phase of the process, because it is multiple phases.
And that phase is so satisfying because you're scraping it off traditionally with an opihi, but you're scraping off with a knife to get kind of this light green layer.
Off.
Or getting to the light green layer.
Yeah, just like right underneath the light green.
Yeah.
There's like a lighter layer, which is this.
And then you start to peel it, and it starts to make that like sound all the way down after you cut it down the middle.
It's very satisfying.
Yeah, and then you just peel it off, and then you're left with like a nice stick that you can use for, I had the idea of hangers, or just like turning them into brushes if you're a painter. It's like this nice stick that's a good like pencil size shape.
It's a good stick. I guess bugs kind of like to eat it. So.
I like to eat that. And then this was it.
Yeah.
So now this is what you left.
Yeah.
You took what we did and put it in the freezer.
We already pounded that one. It's actually hanging up. We'll grab it. Well, you unfurl her.
I'll unfurl. So yeah, you can kind of already tell where it was wrapped around. Like imagine this was a little branch, and then you cut down the middle, so you're opening it, and you're making that sound all the way down. Obviously this was a really big branch. And then you roll it up, pop in the freezer, forget about it, or is there a certain period it needs to sit?
You can keep it in there for a long time. These are possibly some of the pieces we're working on. So this is what our mo'o will look like at the end of the day, hopefully, or at the end of our discussion.
Cool.
You hang it up to dry before the next step, which is to ferment it. But I guess I never even explained totally what Kapa was, my bee.
That's good.
So listen up, hear ye, hear ye. Kapa is, or tapa, is used all across Polynesia. You can actually trace the origin of Hawaiian people from the lineage of the kapa trees. It travels the migration because it was such an important plant to them, because they used it for a lot of their lole, their clothes. So if you feel this, it's like very soft like cotton. You can you can even make it softer by rubbing it with a shell or a rock. And once you layer it and pound it again, it's a very like cohesive fabric. So like here's some art from my sister Hana. She did art on Kapa, and you can tell it's like fully one sheet. So Hawaiians would use this as clothing, as art, as bedding, towels, pretty much everything we use cotton for today. Hawaiians use this.
Yeah, it
Kapa.
kind of feels almost like, it's like if you opened up a cigarette butt. This is like not the best because it's plastic, but if you open it up and it's that really soft, papery inside, even though it's not paper, beware, it's plastic lined. It feels like that almost, but a little bit more starchy and firm.
Yeah. It almost reminds me of like, you know, those really good sarongs that are like hemp or something, and they get like crunchy after you go on the beach.
Yeah, that's
And then
a
you like
good
take it off the
one.
clotheslines, like kind of crunchy. That's kind of
Yeah.
what it feels like, but a little bit more thick. Yeah.
Yes. You can like see.
It smells so good. It smells like fresh bark,
Yeah.
because that's what it is.
A little bit of like a hay, but like not like the horses got to it yet.
Yeah.
It's like fresh barrel of hay.
like fresh hay.
Yum. Okay, I'll place that there.
Put this.
I do want to point out on this bark, there's like, what are the nubs? That's just how the bark.
Yeah,
is.
remember there were, when we were scraping
Oh
with
yeah, I can see
with the
them,
opihi shells,
Mhm.
how there was like parts that were hard
Yeah.
to get around. Maybe couldn't get around because there was like a little branch nodule coming out. That's what those are.
That's what those
That's
are.
what those are.
So this branch, this bark is kind of like a bumpy bark. Okay. So I'm noticing that my wet bark has been split in two. Should I completely split it in two? Or
No.
No.
We want it to all be like as in one piece as possible.
Okay.
I'll give you this one so it's a little easier.
So kind, Kumu'i.
I like starting at the thin parts, I think, because it just like is more satisfying early on, and I'm like I need early gratification.
Right.
I just was raised in that Western mindset, but I need like success early on. But it will get harder throughout. So if you want to flip it so that you do the hard stuff first, you could also do that.
Like where it's thick.
Like the thick is the hard part. Yeah. So if you think about it, it's just a tree, right? That we, essentially just took the outer layer off and made it wet. So. Oh, that reminds me, I should grab some water. Do we have water?
We have water.
Okay. So it'll be thicker at the base where we cut it, and then thinner at the top. Because as it grows, the resources are a little bit less. Because they're spreading out to all the branches and all the leaves and all the flowers or whatever.
Yeah. Nice. Well, you're going to start with light. I'm going to start with thick.
Let's see how it goes.
Right. You want to explain to us our pounding
Tools?
material? Yeah, tools.
So this is a hohoa. Hohoa. And my sister and I made these actually. I forget what kind of wood, perhaps eucalyptus and guava or something, but they're very nice. We chiseled it and we sanded it down after Kumu chopped them. And yeah, we treat all of our tools like with the utmost respect, obviously, because we handmade them. So usually, like before or after we work, we'll sand them with like up to like 400 grit sandpaper, and then oil them again. So we'll just use like coconut oil or something really basic, kukui oil.
Yeah.
Really, whatever we have.
Whatever oil.
Make it nice.
Spread it on it.
Yeah, keep them nice. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm trying to think.
Should we do that right now? You said before or
Nah,
after?
we don't have to.
Okay.
It's a lot.
We'll do it after.
We can do it
To
after.
prep it for next time.
Exactly. We'll clean it up after. Because sometimes, like, the stuff will get stuck on it. But it's pretty cool because all the tools you use and all the fabric, obviously, it's all natural and then manpower. So we're going to be pounding on a pohaku, or a rock. And you want a smooth one.
Smooth,
From,
almost like
the
a river
stream.
rock. Yeah.
Yes, a river rock. Exactly. You find a good river rock, and it's calling to you. You gotta ask for permission,
Yeah.
and then use that boy. But don't take it, because have you heard the stories about people taking stuff?
Haven't heard.
Taking rocks from Hawaii?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and
On
they
the plane,
they
yeah.
send it back because
And
it
then
curses them.
yeah.
Like straight up, you can look it up. The national
Okay.
parks get so many rocks sent back.
Wow.
It's crazy.
And I feel like that juju just stays with you. Even if you send it back, it's like, no, you had that intention.
Yeah, it's already there.
Yep.
It's already flown over with you.
Yeah, follow.
Can't
Yeah, I've been told
unattach.
that. So whenever someone's like, oh, lava rocks or sand from anywhere, I always get them fake stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
Who knows?
Like, especially those lava rock bracelets, I make sure that it's those, like, plasticky.
Oh my gosh, remember the Live Loci bracelets?
No.
Did you ever get those?
Mm-mm.
You weren't like...
I had the, the Dead Sea. Like,
yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah,
what it is.
that's the one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, those were crazy. Those probably gave you some spirits. From the
Yeah, I
highest
had-
point on Earth and low... Also, no way that was real.
Yeah, no. And so many.
So many.
No. I feel like I did open one
Yeah.
for the water. It was nothing in there.
Really? Yeah.
Probably
It's like, how could
evaporated.
water even stay in there?
No.
It's like this shilajit trend. Everybody's doing the shilajit.
Have
you heard of that?
I heard of Labufu.
Bufu? What's
Labubu?
Bufu? Labubu.
Those dolls.
Huh?
I'm gonna show you it after. I'm like, what the heck is that?
Labubu.
It's a Labubu doll, or I'm probably saying it wrong. It's this doll with a really
Oh, scary.
large smile with like sharp teeth. But it's supposed to look cute. But
Why do people get it?
I don't know.
Oh.
It's kind of like the new rag dolls.
Oh.
Or like, you know
Seems
how...
like it'd give kids nightmares.
Yeah. When I was younger, we had ugly dolls. Like,
Oh,
they
I
were
love
called.
the ugly dolls.
So I think it's kind of like that, maybe.
Oh, interesting.
But they're like keychain form.
Shilajit is like this trend where like they believe like when there was the great floods, all the water went up to, and then there was only like one peak, and so all the minerals and nutrients went to that peak, and so there's like hundreds of thousands of nutrients or something like that. I don't really know, but I'm like, if it's only one peak, how do so many people have jars of it?
Yeah. How they get up there?
How do you get that? Okay, we got our wauke, pohaku, and our hohoa. Hohoa. Good, my kai. And now we're going to Kuku.
Kuku!
And I'm trying not to flash you. So,
Yeah, right?
Kuku is to pound. And we're going to try and hit with the middle part of our hohoa.
Okay.
And we're going to start in the center and just kind of work our way to one side and then out to the other side. And try not to hit your fingers. I always got to tell the kids, like, don't hit your fingers.
Oh, I see what you mean by the light. You're already seeing difference.
Yeah, so you want it to be like, you want it to slowly spread, so you can see how much it's spread already. And you want it to, like, the light to come through, you know? Don't be gentle with her, be intense. If there's spots, like, especially around the nodes, there's, like, it's, like, really thick, so I usually hit that a couple times. Get it. Alright, hopefully this isn't deafening you. Oh, no plastic in here. We don't plastic.
No, KK used the plastic to keep these in a formation while they're in the freezer.
Okay. Yeah, I just reuse the plastic from, like, if I have to get plastic bags at the grocery store, or like if something comes in a plastic bag, I'll reuse it for Kapa stuff.
I do the same for my dogs. Yeah, I was just even thinking right now, like, what would be an alternative to poop bags. Like there's poopers,
Leaves.
scoopers, there's leaves.
No?
But I'm like the general public. Like, how can we get everyone on board for this new alternative?
Paper bags?
Yeah, but that would tear. People have like acrylic nails.
Ew. Yeah, that's true. No one wants that.
Ew.
Not about the acrylic nails, but also kind of ew. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, the fake nails are all like, I mean, it's just plastic, right?
Yeah.
And it just like usually goes somewhere random because they just fall off all the time.
Yeah. I'm always finding them when I'm cleaning a beach.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you think is like the most common item you find?
The most common item.
Like
I
top
find-
5.
Oh.
I don't know.
Cigarette butts, bottle caps, bottles.
Like glass bottles?
Yeah. Plastic. It depends. If you're West Side, you're finding Heineken. If you're anywhere else, it's more cans. What else? I said cigarette butts, caps, bottles, utensils, food packaging,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to think of one that's like unusual, but I'm finding it a lot. Toothbrushes.
Toothbrushes.
So many people be brushing their teeth either at the beach or it's coming from the ocean. But I be finding toothbrushes.
That's crazy. I was just thinking about that the other day because I was telling my friend about how you floss with your hair and then I was
What'd
like,
they say?
I got coconut, like this coconut fiber charcoal floss, but it's kind of intense. Like it's kind of like harsh, I feel like, on my gums. So I only use it like every now and again.
You said this.
Yeah, to my friend. And then he was like, well, I feel like it's not that big of an impact if you just like use plastic floss. Like, what? It's just like a handful of floss at the end of your life. And I was like, well.
No.
And then I was like, well, I don't know. And then we started thinking about like all the microplastics that it's probably putting into your mouth. And then we were talking about brushing your teeth is
Yeah.
probably so many microplastics. But there's not really like an alternative toothbrush yet. Just the bamboo ones, but they get all moldy.
But also in Kenya and Africa, they actually use sugar cane, and then like they chew on it, and that becomes like a fibery toothbrush, and that actually like brushes it off.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's like
That's like
closest
yummy.
to the source.
Wait,
yeah.
that's crazy because it's sugar. You
I know.
wouldn't think that it would be
I know.
helping your teeth.
Yeah. Well, like it probably has it. It's like a bittersweet kind of alternative, but I feel like the sugar doesn't stay on the bristles as much, especially if you're using it every day, where you can then add your toothpaste component and still have those bristles. Yeah, that's the most close to the source. But again, like so many people have bamboo, but then the bristles are still
Yeah.
plastic.
Right.
Or I have a multi-use plastic one, and that's still all plastic.
Yeah. A multi-use toothbrush?
Like a electric.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's not a disposable thing.
I've been seeing ones for like stainless steel ones.
Oh.
And then you just trade out the top.
That's smart. And that is also stainless steel?
The top, I mean, the bristles aren't stainless steel, but the top is.
Oh.
But the bristles are plastic.
Cool.
But then I've also. You go.
I was going to say, even though you have the alternative material, it's still ending up in a landfill and polluting
Yeah, right.
the earth.
Yeah.
Because it has
But I
that
guess you
mixture.
can recycle the steel.
But it still has that plastic bristle on it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it
The bristles,
probably
yeah.
like get some of it recycled, but still a piece of it.
I've been getting a bunch of commercials or like ads on Instagram about the twig brush.
Twig brush?
I don't know, it's literally just a stick, but I'm like, why am I kind of sold on this right now?
It would be a stick. Look at this.
Yes!
For those who can't look, now this really thin, straight, rectangular bark has become a fanned mermaid-ish tail.
This is kind of a visual episode, I guess.
Yeah, you gotta tune in.
You gotta put that thing up on the dash and log
on the
in
dash.
right now.
This is so satisfying.
Well, what did we want to talk about again? We want something about clothes, no?
Oh, I feel like this episode is gonna be a lot of you instructing me and directing me and educating me, since I haven't taken so much of my time to learn about Kapa, but I definitely want to contribute to the conversation. So she told me that this was used for, like she said, clothing and bedding and anything that we use for cotton today, or from cotton today. And I was like, yeah, this is actually the closest to the source you can get.
Love it.
Because the island is very small. It is one of the smallest around, especially if you compare it to America. And that means our space is limited and very scarce.
Dude, it's scarce.
Scarce? It's not scarce.
It's not scarce.
Scarce. I thought I corrected it that time.
Every episode we have a word that we mispronounce brutally.
Scarce.
It's pretty great.
Scarce.
Scarce.
Scarce. Yeah,
Scarce.
scarcity. Scarcity. It's
Scarcity.
Scarcity. I took economics.
With Mia last week.
Our island is very limited and scarce, that we don't have a lot of our natural resources, that it's important to plant these natives, to use them, to educate others how you can use them, because once we find a purpose for something, we start to protect it. And I was even talking to my coworker, and he was listening to a podcast, and it was asking its audience, what is your rice? Because in Japan, rice is very sacred for the family, for the culture, that without rice they couldn't have, their traditional foods, they wouldn't have their traditional jobs and practices without rice. So the podcast asks, what is your rice in your
That's
family?
so funny, I don't know
Yeah.
why.
It's like, what's your rice in your family? And if you can't answer that question, that's the problem, and that's where you should begin. And I was like, okay, well, what's your rice? He goes, no, I don't know my rice. I have to find what is so sacred to me that I could not live without.
Like, what's the cog in your wheel?
Yeah. And he
Keeps
was
it all
saying, like,
going.
maybe for Native Hawaiians, it's kalo, especially with its mo'olelo, and, like, all of its education was strongly affiliated with kalo. So it's like finding that rice, finding that kalo. And so what I'm trying to get at is when you find a purpose and a meaning to something, you
Give it
Give
the
it-
attention
yeah.
it deserves, for
give
sure.
it,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's why it's very important to educate people about Kapa, and that's why I wanted to definitely make this episode when you suggested it, because it's letting people know that sometimes a tree's not a tree. It's actually meant for you and me.
There.
Dr. Seuss would be
One-liners.
proud.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really empowering too, right? Like, telling kids and telling people, but especially kids, like when I teach kids about Kapa, because when you're a kid, you just want to make clothes and make like your whole reality out of like mud and
Yeah.
like plants, right? And so to have like an adult tell you like, yeah, that's how it's supposed to be, and that's what we do. It's like
Right.
so empowering, and so I think it's such a good way to return to the source and be more connected, because it's just like how we get all of our food from the supermarkets, we get all of our clothes from like fucking, I don't know, the thrift store or
Yeah.
online shopping. Like, we're so disconnected from where it's coming from. Like, maybe we think about the factory it's made in, and maybe we make sure that it's a company that is practicing fair labor and, all of that, but we really don't have the resources to look a step further and see how is that material being sourced. Like, what plant is it coming from? How are they harvesting the plant?
Right.
Is it being, farmed with all of these kinds of pesticides and, where even is it growing? Is it destroying the land? And is the runoff hurting the people? And so this way, it's just like, it's growing in your backyard. You're taking care of it.
Yep.
And it's pretty cool. I
Yep.
don't know.
No water used except for when you want to wet it up.
Yeah.
Cup of water.
Cup of water a day. I think anything you can do where you close that gap between where you're getting it from and where it's being used, and of course, like, where it's being disposed of, But wherever you can close those gaps to where you can actually see and feel and taste and smell where it's being produced, and then you get to use it, and then again you can know and see where it's being put to rest,
No,
for
for
lack
sure.
of a better term.
Yeah.
Because when we just grab it from Target and throw it in a bin, we just don't have to think about the consequences.
I always start to do that where I'm like, especially when I was going down the hole of researching about plastic, would be scared to enter my 7-Eleven because that was filled with plastic, but then I started to think about all the 7-Elevens in the world, and then all the factories that make the things that are sold at 7-Eleven. So it's really important to zone out
Yeah.
from both perspectives, like where things are coming from, but also how they're treating the environment, and that I think will set the ignition off in your own heart to start protecting whatever you can.
Definitely.
Because exactly what Mia said last episode, we owe everyone everything.
Amen, brother. True that. That's our new slogan.
Yep.
And I
Everyone
feel like
everything.
too, like we don't want the fear and the uncertainty, and like I feel like a lot of people can feel paralyzed when they start to zoom out and they're like,
Yeah.
the bag of chips I just ate, that bag won't decompose. But what about like the millions of bags of chips that have just been eaten?
Yeah.
And I think it's important that we remember that we just return to the source because it's fun. And that's why I really like pounding Kapa, is because it's fun and it's like something you can do with friends, and sure, it gives you a product, but it's not something you have to monetize, and it's not something you have to, you know, like you need to do. It's something you want to do.
Right.
And I think it's kind of like a symbiotic relationship, and it gives you a lot more than just the assurance that you're not using a plastic bag or something like that, for sure. But
I love it.
yeah.
I'm so blessed to be here right now learning from you.
Ah!
And also just talking story, but like you just, I don't know, you can tell the story of how you came about wanting to dive into Kappa, but from my perspective, it was just 1 week you were set on an idea and you accomplished it. You reached out, you found a kumu yourself, and you started pounding.
Honestly, it kind of found me.
Really? Tell.
It found me.
Tell.
Working at an aquarium, shall remain nameless, and she was wanting to do business there, and she had a grant, which was awesome, through the Hawaii Tourism Association and HTA, and they were going to pay for her to train accomplices to learn how to make kappa, so that way this art form and this practice would live on, right? And we could continue teaching it to visitors, of course, but also, you know, local people. And so I was working there. She was wanting to use this space as a place to reach tourists, and she saw me as an opportunity to get Kanaka Maoli, a Hawaiian person, involved that was already in the space she wanted to inhabit, and she was like, let's go, you'll get paid. And I was like, yes, it's everything I want. So it really just worked out awesome. Yeah, and she's still been such a mentor, and
she's amazing. Kumu Page, you're awesome. Just as a person and as a teacher.
True that. She truly is. Paige like came into my life at such like a beautiful time, because I was really searching for a mentor. I'd always wanted to be an apprentice. Like, I just thought that was such a cool practice it's kind of lost on today's society.
Yeah.
It's like college or trade school is your only options, but I think learning under a master is like so much, like such a way better way to learn something. And then you get connections and you get their mindset, and you get to just adapt so many ways of like not just the craft, but their way of thinking and what they've learned from the practice. I think it's like just honestly like the biggest gift.
Yeah. I'm happy that you brought that up, because the coworker who told me about the rice podcast.
Oh yeah. I need to listen to this.
Yeah,
now.
I want him on the podcast, so
Dude,
I'm not
get
going
him
to say the
on.
name yet, but I'm manifesting. And I already told him that we
If
want
he's
him.
listening right now, this
Yeah.
is your call out.
Yes.
Hit us up.
But he studied psychology as well for his undergrad, and so did I as well.
Also as well.
I already said as well.
In addition to
But I really want to go the route of environmental psychology or human ecology. But I was telling him, I was like, yeah, I've always wanted a mentor because everyone I've talked to that is in an environmental psychology route is the traditional environmental psychology, which is more focusing on your home and your family. When I want to do environmental, outside
like actual
psychology, environment.
Not your environment, but our environment.
Yes. And so I was like, yeah, of course we can talk story. Like, I have always been down that path of trying to find a mentor myself, so I would be more than happy to fill those shoes.
What?
So I'm excited for my journey that you kind of went on with.
Wait, he's gonna be your
Page.
mentor.
Well, he gives it to me straight. Like, we were talking about the UN and if I should go to higher education and just how I could branch out in my life. With me being an extrovert, I really just, need who I am and stay strong to that. So he's just like lifting a weight, but also giving me a new perspective.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm so glad you have this person.
He's great. He
What
knows it, and he's going to be listening.
Hey,
Not naming you yet. You have to come on the podcast. But was there anything else you want to talk about? I feel like.
I mean, just so grateful. Oh, lovely.
Is it looking good?
Yeah, it looks really good.
You go. Oh, lovely. Kaylee has done 3 feet of hers, and I've done.
You got the thick one.
I didn't start on the thick side though.
Well, still yet. I
was
think
just-
your thin side is still thicker than mine.
I was just being super
Smell it.
attentive.
Smells so good.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That smells like something I want to eat.
Right? And imagine you could wear it. It feels so good on
Wow.
your skin too, like a
It does.
Ah,
I love Kapa. I love
Yeah.
you.
let that be the lesson.
Want to close out, girl?
Yeah, I can close it out. I was getting a fly off from that, dismissing you. I want to close it out by saying I love you, and I hope that you are having the best day. If it wasn't a great day, I hope today kind of helped you relax, detox from the world, and know that I am wrapping you up in Kapa. And I wish you the most amazing time. I hope you learned a little bit about Kapa making, and if you want to learn more about it, there is a few more steps that we could definitely go through in that podcast, so let us know if you're interested in learning/hearing about it. We always got some things cooking up for you guys. I have some really exciting things that I want to do with my life.
As you should. You brought on Kappa. I can only imagine what's in your noggin.
Yeah, so just stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for joining us for our 8th episode.
My favorite number.
If you guys didn't listen in for our last 2 episodes, 6 and 7, with Mia, you should definitely go and tune in because we had some really interesting conversations with her that I think are just something we always are feeling, but she was able to articulate a lot of those feelings very well.
Yes.
Yeah, and always do your own research, love each other, love yourself, and we'll see you guys next time. Make sure, if you enjoyed this episode and you want to support what we're doing, to like and subscribe.
And comment.
And comment the craziest thing we can make out of this Kapa right now.
Yeah.
And we will go for it. If you don't follow us yet, we are on like Instagram, Spotify, pretty much all the things
All
on
damn.
WataWahineWorld. And yeah, we're just so excited to keep having these conversations because honestly, life is crazy. And if we didn't do this, I honestly don't know if we would dedicate time every week to talk about sustainability which is something we're so passionate about. So thank you guys for listening in on this ramble, honestly.
And keeping with the pounds. I know you're probably listening like, oh!
Yeah, your ears are probably burning. Get some fucking sauce for those guys.
Rub those lobes.
But we love you guys.
Yeah.
And we will see you
Mahalo.
next week.
Shoots!
Shoots.